Are favorites right now to sign Jimmy Butler, which is interesting because a couple days ago they weren't even on the list. So something has happened, but will it help the Grizzlies? I think the only reason why that they would want to sign Jimmy Butler is to win a championship, right? Because his contract ends at the end of the year. You know, he could walk away and then you're left with nothing except for cap space, you know? So the only reason why they would want to trade for Jimmy Butler is to win now, which the Grizzlies have never made a move in the Zach Kleiman era like this before. I don't expect them to make this move, but someone knows something that we don't. For their odds to jump like that, they were the seventh most likely team a couple days ago, according to a couple sports books, and now according to DraftKings, they're plus 300 to sign him. You know, the next team is Phoenix at plus 400 and then Golden State at plus 450. You can make an easier case for Phoenix and Golden State, much easier case than you could for Memphis, because if you were going to trade for Jimmy Butler, in my opinion, now there are other ways to make this trade work, of course. In my opinion, you would have to give up Desmond Bane. And so it would look like Desmond Bane and Luke Kennard for Butler. Or what you could do is Marcus Smart, Brandon Clark, Luke Kennard, John Conchar, and a second-round pick next year for Butler and Love. But I don't know why Miami go for that, in a way. I don't understand why they would go. How does that help Miami now? Either way, you're hurting your depth. You're hurting your depth in a big way if you go for the bigger deal and you give up guys like Marcus Smart, Brandon Clark, even someone like, you know, Kennard and Conchar as well. You don't give up as much depth when you give up Kennard and Bane. And now Miami could use two guys like Desmond Bane and Luke Kennard. It's definitely more of an even trade, in my opinion. But why would they want to trade Desmond Bane?
Yeah, I just don't see the Grizzlies giving up Desmond Bane. In everything that I've ever heard Zach Kleiman say, it's I'm building this team around these three guys, those three guys being Desmond Bane, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Ja Morant. That's what they did last year with the draft, was to build around that team. Kleiman said it in the beginning press conference of this season. I feel like we have the team to win this thing with those three guys in the team. I don't see a world in which they give up Des Bane. I would be shocked to see that happen. But obviously, it is a possibility. And I can understand why some people are talking about it. Obviously, the Grizzlies, they want a big wing. They want someone like that. They missed out on Dorian earlier this season when he went to the Lakers, and that was, I think, a big miss for their part. I think that would have been a great addition to them. Obviously, a lot of talks in who they would have traded, and the Lakers kind of swooped in and got him. So I can see why the Grizzlies are kind of on the market and looking for someone. I just don't think Jimmy Butler is the right move. And number one, like I mentioned, I don't think they're getting rid of Bane. And I don't think the Heat, as you mentioned, would take the other option in going those guys. I just don't think it adds enough value to their team. But for me, I just don't think he's a good addition to this team. And the main reason being we're seeing what's happening in Miami right now with his behavior being an issue and that having an impact on the team as a whole. The one thing that I noticed so much about the Grizzlies this year, and we get an inside look into them, we're in that locker room every single game after their home games, is they seem to genuinely be enjoying playing with each other.
Yeah, definitely.
And I've been in a ton of locker rooms, and so have you, where you know that's not the case. Like, you can tell that it's not the case. But in that locker room, they're all chirping each other, having fun. At Christmas, there was literally presents the galore. You see Yuki handing out gummy bears and jelly beans to everyone. They're having fun in that locker room. They're enjoying playing together. And the risk for me in bringing a guy like Butler in is that he can ruin all of that. And I don't know why you'd ever want to risk that.
Yeah, I don't know what it would look like with Jimmy Butler and Ja Morant's personalities together. That would be interesting. That would be very interesting. I would also like to know what they're thinking about right now, too, because Desmond Bane is really great friends with guys like Jaren Jackson and Ja Morant and some of the younger guys on the team as well. I think it would really disrupt chemistry, and at the beginning of the year, they're implementing this new offense. It seems to be in place now for the most part. They may be adding in more sets as the season progresses, but you get this new offense. This team still hasn't played together that long with it. They built chemistry along with this new offense, and you add Jimmy Butler in. Jimmy Butler's at the point in his career where he's going to say, oh, that's cute. I like what y'all are doing with the analytics and everything. I'm going to take my shots. You know, I'm going to take over the ball. You look at someone like Desmond Bane, who is usually averaging around 15 field goal attempts per game based off the last two seasons. He's cut it down to 11 or 12 a game. He's clearly taking less shots. Jimmy Butler's not going to come out here and take less shots. I can tell you that much. He's never done it in his career. He's a great player, but that has never been who he is. He's a volume guy. He's a volume shooter, and he's not going to change that. Yeah, I don't even think he'll change it, in the next 5 years when he starts to lose his speed. Is he a great player? Yes. Is he an all-star level player? Yes. Can he help the Grizzlies win? If it works out, 100%. You have to look at something where Grizzlies fans really have to take a look at themselves and who you like most on this team. Desmond Bane is one of the most popular guys on this team and has been for a while. You look at someone like him, starting from TCU, coming in as not a highly rated player and has been borderline all-star throughout his career, but he's not as good as Jimmy Butler. Let's just face it. That might be heresy in Memphis to say that, but it's not like Jimmy's that much further ahead of him.
But there is a gap.
Yeah, there is a gap, and so there is a case to be made. But long term, 3 years from now, this Grizzlies team, even this year or next year, they could be competing for a championship with Desmond Bane. They're not going to be competing for a championship with Jimmy Butler in 3 years. I can tell you that much.
Right. Yeah, it's this year or never if you're going to get Jimmy Butler. If the Grizzlies don't grab him, decide either they don't want him or they can't get him in a trade, is there anyone else you think the Grizzlies should be targeting in a trade right now before that deadline kicks in?
I think Cam Johnson with the Brooklyn Nets, someone to add to the Grizzlies front court. He's averaging 19 points per game, 50% from the field. I've said this, believe it or not, I've said this since early December, that I highlighted Cam Johnson. I felt like he would be perfect for this team. I think he would slide in perfectly. You could even play him alongside Jaren Jackson Jr. Edey's been struggling with a lot of injuries this season, so you could even start him with Jaren Jackson Jr. in a way. I'm sure they could figure it out. He's a vet at this point. Now, he has had injury troubles. Last year, he played 58 games, though, which is not too shabby. And this year, he's played in 32 games, and that's where you see him, where his numbers are ticking up to where he's at a career-high 19 points per game, career-high field goal percentage. His true shooting percentage is also at a career high, and his effective field goal percentage is top 25 in the league, too, or top 30 in the league as well. He's a really good player. And he's a humble guy. He's a team guy. Everywhere he's gone, he's been a team guy. I think it would be perfect, and they don't have to give up that much. I see them packaging a deal with someone who's on about $3 million a year in Whitehead, who plays for the Brooklyn Nets, with Cam Johnson. You add them together, and you trade for Vince Williams Jr. and Marcus Smart, and that levels out. That the contracts work out perfectly. Both teams. Maybe not both teams win, but what is Brooklyn doing this year? Are they competing for a title? So you just take those assets and then maybe you package them into another deal that helps you out. Because the Grizzlies have to decide, are they going to sell high on Vince Williams Jr.? Because he's been injured a lot this year. And he was injured some last year as well. Now, he had an absolutely...
Did he play one game this year before he got injured again?
Yeah. So last year he had a great season for the most part. Was a breakout guy, one of the best defensive players in the NBA last year. This year, we haven't seen it at all. And so what if he comes back and he's not nearly the player he was last year? Now, in that one game, he did look really nice. I will say that. I am a fan of Vince Williams Jr.'s game. I think he's a very good player. But I would rather have Cam Johnson. Just bottom line, that's what I want. Vince Williams Jr. is also younger, so you could make a case that this is not an even trade if you take money out of it and you just look at potential overall. Because Vince Williams Jr. is a guy who could end up being Cam Johnson one day. I don't think he's as tall as Cam Johnson. His game's a little bit different. But giving up Marcus Smart, I haven't even mentioned him yet. I think that Cam Johnson gives the Grizzlies a better chance to make a run in the playoffs. Their depth is fine in the front court, in my opinion. It's in the back court, and it's the front court that they need to strengthen. And if you have to give up Marcus Smart, I think you do it, because I don't think Marcus Smart is a great player. He is an amazing player. I even said earlier this year that I think Marcus Smart could be a Hall of Famer. I don't think a lot of people would agree with me on that. But he's lost some of his speed. He's still a great defensive player. He's had handfuls of great games this year, but I think that he is an asset that they should use to try to get better.
My question for you is, for the Grizzlies to make a deep playoff run this year, do they need to get a trade done?
Do they need to? Cam Johnson would make them better.
But to make it happen.
To make it happen, you're talking about deep, or you're talking about going to the finals?
Whatever you classify as deep. But yes.
All right, I'll give you...
go to the finals, because that's what everyone as a Grizzlies fan wants. That's what everyone in the Grizzlies franchise wants, is to go to the final. So do they need to make a trade to make it happen?
I'll say yes. I think that they do, but I don't think it has to be as big as Cam Johnson
Or Jimmy Butler.
Or Jimmy Butler, of course. But look, if this Grizzlies team is fully healthy, you get Vince Williams Jr. back, you get Gigi Jackson back, Kennard stays healthy, John Morant stays healthy, which there hasn't been a precedent of that for 2 years now, and then also Zach Edey, who never had really an issue with injuries, right? Is having issues with injuries in the NBA now. If you get all those guys healthy, this is a complete team. I don't think they really need to make a trade, but the last 2 years, as precedent, the Grizzlies are not going to stay healthy for the rest of the year. Hopefully they do, but right now it doesn't look like they are.
Yeah, we've already seen it this year so far.
Yeah, and they've been very careful with Ja, and Ja has made it very clear that he wants to play as many games as possible. He came back, I think it was somewhere in November when he was saying, Grizzlies Twitter pressured me into playing. Ja really wanted to play, and clearly the trainers were like, look, you should probably sit it out, but if you want to play, go ahead and play. There's not a lack of desire for Ja. Ja wants to be out there. But if they can stay healthy, then no. I don't think they're going to stay healthy. I think that they're going to have issues just going off of past trends. And so I think you do need to get somebody. And Cam Johnson is just, he's on $24 million a year. It's a reasonable contract. That's a little bit more than Marcus Smart. I just think that is the best case scenario for them, unless you want to go out there and you get a defensive guy like Herb Jones. I really don't think that helps them out that much. There's not a ton of options for the Grizzlies to go and get. In my opinion, it's, and I'm by no means an NBA trade expert or anything. In my opinion, it's Cam Johnson or bust. If you look at 2 years ago, they got Luke Kennard. They needed three-point shooting. This year, they need some more depth in their front court. They need somebody who is an efficient shooter as well across the board. Cam Johnson ticks all the boxes. I think he makes them better. Saying that without Cam Johnson, they're not going to make a deep run is a pretty crazy claim. So, but sure, let's go ahead and say it. If they don't,
I was going to say, you love a crazy claim.
Yeah, if they don't add a little bit more depth into their front court, then I think somebody slips up and beats them. That West is just so good this year.
Yeah, and you make a good point about the injury side of things too, because we're just seeing so much inconsistency with who they've got on the court day in, day out. Right now, about 8 or 9 guys out heading into tonight's game against the Dallas Mavericks. Tip-off for that one at 7 p.m. And boy, that does it for us here on the 24th floor today, Monday edition. Be sure to check out all we do right here on ABC 24+, as well as abc24.com and our YouTube page. You can also follow the team, myself, Caleb, and Avery on Twitter or X for the latest updates. We'll be back on Thursday to break down all things in the Mid-South sports world. But for now, saying farewell. Have a good one. We'll see you back here Thursday.
Let us know